It adds a really beautiful and subtle texture to the fabric. On this video, I'm going to teach you how to do the Baltic Square. I'm going to be using a 4mm hook and some acrylic yarn size 4. So we're going to start with a slip knot, and we're going to start with a base ring. So for a base ring, you want to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then to close the base ring, we're going to do a slip stitch into the very first chain that you just made. Go into the chain and then make a slip stitch or a slip stitch. There we go. So now you got your base ring. And now we're going to move on to row 1. For row 1, we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. And we're going to work, this first one's a little bit different. We're going to work a popcorn stitch, but this chain 3 counts as the first double crochet for it. So for a popcorn stitch, right now we're going to do 4 double crochets into the base ring. So just do 4 regular double crochets. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again, because the chain 3 counts as a double crochet, we're going to insert our hook. We've removed it, and now we're going to insert it on the third chain of that chain 3. Insert your hook there, and now back into the working loop into this one here. Pull your yarn down, and now basically you just want to kind of slip stitch it together, because that's going to create that popcorn stitch that you want. So that's the very first one. Now we're going to do the following 3 times. We're going to do a chain 5 and then a popcorn stitch. So we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now into the base ring, we're going to create our next popcorn stitch. And for this one, we're doing 5 double crochets for this popcorn stitch and every popcorn stitch forward. So let's do 5 double crochets. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. So now we're going to basically, you can kind of pull up a loop so that you don't lose that yarn. And then we are going to insert our hook into the top of the very first double crochet of the 5 you just made. Into there, insert your hook, and now grab the working yarn. You can pull it down, and now we're going to pull it through to close off that popcorn stitch. And now that's basically the repetition. So the chain 5 and popcorn stitch a total of 3 times. That was our first one. I'm going to do it again with you one more time. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my chain 5, and now my popcorn stitch, 5 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Remove the hook, insert it on top of the first double crochet of those 5 you just made. Grab the yarn and now pull it through to close off that popcorn stitch. And so there we have it. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to do this off camera, and I'll see you when I'm done. Okay, so I just did that repetition one more time, the chain 5 and popcorn stitch. So now to finish off this row, we're going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to finish off with a slip stitch to the top of the first popcorn stitch. So the top of the first popcorn stitch there's like a little hole there. So into there, we're going to slip stitch. And this here is the end of row 1. As you can see, you've got 4 popcorn stitches and then chain 5s in between them. So now we move on to row 2. We're going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. And now we're going to start the row repetition. Into the next chain 5 space, you're going to work 2 double crochets, a chain 2, a popcorn stitch, a chain 2, and 2 double crochets. So we'll do that together. 2 double crochets. That's 1 and 2. Now we're going to do a chain 2. 1, 2. Now you want to do a popcorn stitch. So 5 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then once you're done that 5th one, we can pull up a loop, go back on top of the first double crochet of those 5 you just made, insert your hook in that yarn, the working yarn, and pull through to close off your popcorn stitch. And now you want to do a chain 2, 1, 2, and then into the same space, 2 double crochets. So that's 1 and 2. And now continuing the row repeat, you're going to do 1 double crochet into the next popcorn. So on top of the popcorn stitch here, you do a double crochet. I do it on this kind of hole that closes together, kind of behind it. Into there, I do my double crochet. And that's basically the repeat. Into the chain spaces, you want the combination of 2 double crochets, chain 2, popcorn, 2 chains, 2 double crochets. And then on top of the popcorn stitch of the previous row, a double crochet. So I'm going to do that all the way around, and I'll see you when I'm done. Let's do it one more time together though. This is 2 double crochets because it's a chain 5 space, a chain 2, a popcorn, which is 5 double crochets basically. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull up a loop, insert my hook into the first one, grab the yarn, pull through. Now a chain 2 and 2 double crochets into the same space. That's 1 and 2. And now on top of the popcorn stitch coming up, a double crochet. So I'm going to continue doing that all the way around. I'll see you when I'm done. Okay, so at the end of the row here, I've come around. As you can see, when you create those chain 2s around the bubble stitch, it kind of creates a corner and it starts shaping that square. And so now once you've done the last repetition, you're going to be right next to the chain 3 that you started with. So on top of that chain 3, you're just going to do a slip stitch. And this here is the end of row 2. For row 3, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, which counts as a double crochet. And now we're going to do 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So into each of the next 2 stitches, a double crochet. That's 1 and 2. And now we're going to start the row repeat. You're going to do 2 double crochets into the next space. So the chain 2 space to the right of the bubble stitch or popcorn stitch, sorry. Into there, we're going to do 2 double crochets. So that's 1 and 2. Now we're going to chain 2 and then do a popcorn stitch into the next popcorn stitch. So again, I work it in that kind of hole that's behind the popcorn stitch. So into there, I'm going to work my 5 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull up a loop and then insert my hook into the first one, grab the yarn and close it off. So that's my popcorn on top of my previous popcorn. Now moving on, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then do 2 double crochets into the next chain 2 space, the one to the left of the popcorn stitch of the previous row. Into there, 2 double crochets. That's 2. And let's see here. Now we're going to do 1 double crochet into each of the next 5 double crochets to get you to the next corner, basically. So into each of the next 5 double crochets, a double crochet on top of each one of them. This is my 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And that finishes the row repeat. You can go back to the beginning of it. I'm going to do it again with you one more time. You start with the 2 double crochets into the chain space of the right of the previous popcorn stitch. So 2 double crochets there. After the 2 double crochets into the chain space, we're going to do the chain 2. Don't forget to do that because that's going to make your corner. And now on top of the popcorn stitch, we do a popcorn stitch, which is 5 double crochets. So this next one's my second, third, fourth, and fifth. Pull up a loop and then insert my hook into the first of the double crochets that I just made, and then close it off. Continuing the row repeat, we chain 2 and do 2 double crochets into the chain 2 to the left of the popcorn stitch of the previous row. So into that chain 2 space, 2 double crochets. So that's 1 and 2. And now to finish off the repeat, we're going to do 1 double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches, which is the double crochets of the side. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And there we have it. That's the row repeat. We're going to do it around to bring us to the end of the row. So I'll do that and I'll see you when I'm there. Okay, so at the end of the row here, you'll see that you've done your last corner. And so you are not going to do the double crochets into the next 5 stitches. You are only left with 2. So you're just going to do a double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So that's 1 and 2. And now to finish off this row, you're just going to do a slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 that you started with. So on top of that chain 3, we are going to do a slip stitch. And this here is the end of row 3. For row 4, we're going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. And we're going to do 1 double crochet into each of the next 4 double crochets. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we've arrived at the corner, which basically works the same. So we're just going to do 2 double crochets into the chain space. So we do that. And then we're going to do chain 2. And now a popcorn on top of the previous popcorn. So for a popcorn, it's 5 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull up a loop and now insert our hook into the first double crochet. And now close that off. Continuing the row repeat, we're going to chain 2 and then do 2 double crochets into the next chain space of the previous row. 2 double crochets there. And now to finish off the repeat, we're going to do 1 double crochet into each of the next 9 stitches. So on the sides, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 double crochets. That's the only difference between row 3 and 4. We're going to do 1 double crochet into each of the next 9 stitches. And then after that, you just go back to the beginning of the row repeat, which is the corners. And so do that all the way around and I'll see you when you're done. Okay, so once you're at the end of row 4 here, you'll notice that you only have 4 stitches left on the side. So you're just going to do 1 double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And to finish off this row, we're just going to do a slip stitch into the 3rd chain of the chain 3 that we started with. Into there, a slip stitch. And that finishes row 4. You can cut off your yarn and thread the ends through, but if you want to make this bigger, basically you just repeat the same things. This one's pretty simple because your corners are worked the same and it's just a matter of how many double crochets you have to do on the sides. That number is going to continue to increase, but otherwise it's the same repetition all the way around if you wanted to make this grow. Here we have it. This is really beautiful. Those popcorn stitches kind of add some dimension to the work. As you can see when I put it on the side like that, it kind of comes out. So yeah, it's quite subtle, but it's really beautiful. And it's very easy to work because it's just double crochet, so it works pretty quick. But it's nice and textured. We love it. Hey, while you're at it, why don't you just subscribe to my channel? Just do it. Just do it.